Hello? Hello? Is anybody there? Hello, Mother? Are we live? Hello? Hello? I will ask you to write in the chat whether you can see us. Are we live? I think we are, except that it's booby-trapped because there's a 30-second delay while I wait for you to find out. Wait to find out whether it look. Yes, I think. Yes, I see a hello. I see a hi. Yes, I think we're on live. Good evening, everybody. We're live from London and Vienna and New Zealand and lots of Indiana and lots of other places. Hello, hello. It's good to meet you. It's good to see you. Well, you know me, but this is my team. You can see all around me. I'm on the. I think I'm on the top left. So I think these are my team. Hello. I'm going to introduce you to my team tonight and just have a little bit of Q&A and talk a little bit more about Foundations Revealed and celebrate our stitchlings. It is enrollment week. We do this twice a year at the moment. About April and October, we introduce new people into Foundations Revealed and show them around as a group and get everybody started together just like a college class. So this is enrollment week. This is when we celebrate all of our stitchlings, and we celebrate sewing, and this is the night when I celebrate my team, our team. It feels a bit, I don't know about my team. Well, we're an autonomous collective. So I will introduce you all one by one. We have most of the team here, not all of us. I will introduce you one by one. I'm going to get everybody to introduce themselves, say what you do at Foundations, and then we've got a couple of you in strange time zones and you're going to have to go in a little while. So we'll go around and do introductions if we may. So do you want to start us off, Loana?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Loana. I'm one of the mentors at Foundations. So my job, it feels weird saying job because I feel like I'm just like hanging out with kindred spirits and geeking out about all wonderful things sewing, really. So what I do is I help all the stitchlings with their questions and virtual fittings. So when stitchlings are Foundations Revealed members. So when they post questions about something they're making, they might post pictures of their mock-ups asking for fitting advice and how to make it better, or if they get stuck on something. So I'll help with that. And any other kind of random questions that people have related to sewing. And I also look after all the beginners. So people who are completely new to sewing and have joined up wanting to learn to make all these fabulous things. I like to take them under my wing and help get them started and, you know, make everyone feel welcome, because I was a beginner once too, and it can be scary and a little daunting sometimes learning a completely new skill. And I think it's important that we look after everyone, not just those who are kind of already know what they're doing. So,
So we haven't talked about this yet, but we actually have a beginner's course within Foundations now that you did with our beginners last time. So those recordings are there. If you're a beginner thinking about joining us, we've got that whole course and you're there for the Academy members. The course is available to stitchlings at both levels, at Essentials and Academy, and you'll be there in the group for the Academy members to help them along through that.
yeah, so if anyone has any questions after watching all the videos, you can come into the Stitchlings group and ask me questions. Sometimes when you're learning something new, sometimes you can hear it and see it and read it, but you still just need to like verbalize a question to kind of help it sink in. So questions are really encouraged, and it's something that we all think here, but there's no such thing as a silly question. And whether you're like a true beginner, you've never picked up a needle, or you just feel like a beginner, then, you know, any question is welcome, and you're welcome to watch along with the beginner's course that we did.
Fantastic. And I just love the way that Loana just looks after people. You know, you've got that very maternal quality around you that you just love to sort of take people under your wing, as you say. So that's I mean, just the perfect quality in a mentor. And you obviously you sew as well, but why don't you tell everybody what kind of thing you're into in terms of sewing, and what your
Uh,
kind of specialist area is as a maker and a designer and a seamstress.
I'm probably most passionate about corsetry, but I also do bespoke bridal on a pretty kind of limited basis, because I am what I would call, I'm a recovering perfectionist, but I think we've coined the term more recently, precisionist. So I'm really passionate about getting, like, rather than necessarily grandiose designs, I love things that are like perfectly fitted and perfectly stitched, and everything sits like just completely as it should. And I love the art of actually making things and
Yeah.
doing things probably the very long way. I'm sure there are quicker ways to do things, but I just love how things turn out when I take the time to do all the hand stitching and just get everything just so. So yeah, I guess I would rather make fewer pieces that are really amazing, that I'm really proud of, than lots of things. And I love design and everything, of course, but it's like the craftsmanship that gets me excited. And
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
And
it.
of course, like getting the fit just right. Like I call myself Queen of Toiles, because I make so many mock-ups for pretty much every project, and I refuse to start until I'm completely happy with the pattern that I've drafted. Like it has to. It's not just like one mock-up and I get going and I'll figure it out as I go. It's like anywhere between 2 and 5 mock-ups, depending on what I'm making every time. And then I can just like enjoy the making, because I know it's going to fit perfectly.
Because
So,
you know it's going to come out right. And
yeah.
really, your sort of hero in sewing, you're very much, you look to Dior, don't you? Have a thing for Dior.
Yes.
That's your
Yes.
favorite.
Dior's amazing. I just love, especially, vintage Dior, maybe not so much modern Dior, but there's just this beautiful, like, simple elegance about so many of those earlier designs and from the earlier collections. But when you actually study the dresses and the outfits and everything, they're very technically made. Like they're not actually quite, they're not simple to make, but they look simple from a design perspective. But I love that. That's just like,
Yeah.
I like understated things that just, at first glance, it might just be a pretty, like a plain red dress. But then when you start like inspecting
Yeah.
it and figuring out how it was made, there's all this like internal structure and all these undergarments that you have to do. And it looks like this simple thing, but then if you left all of the bits that you can't see out, it wouldn't look anywhere, like it wouldn't look anything like it. So you have to get the internal structure right. And I love that, just about like that.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be Dior for me to get excited about those kind of designers and those kind of
Yeah.
outfits, but that definitely helps.
That's your, yes. That's your hero that you look to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being with us tonight, Luana. It's just wonderful to have you on the team and to introduce you to everybody, celebrate you. Let us move on to Gemma. Hello.
Hello, hello.
So, would you like to introduce yourself and what you do?
Sure. So I'm Gemma. I am the editor of Foundations Revealed. And that basically means that I'm responsible for the kind of creative content. So the articles and kind of working with the mentors to choose topics for the live calls as well. So we have 3 kind of written articles each month and 1 interactive live workshop, which is great fun. And yeah, I kind of keep an eye on what topics are coming up, which things are hot, who the great new makers and potential writers might be. Just kind of keeping a bit of an eye open, finger on the pulse, what exhibitions are going to be coming up. We work quite far in advance. So it's almost like having a crystal ball and kind of working out what's going to be exciting for everybody in 6 months' time.
Yes. And trying to figure out what people want, what people
Yeah,
are asking for, and so that
exactly.
archive is, that library is always moving in the directions that we want to get better at or more. And you know, there's a kind of a hole in the library. It's just that wonderful feeling of being a librarian, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. And commissioning articles it's really exciting because it gives people an opportunity to express their voice. We've recently had some fantastic articles by Geraldine Lanier about working with Black skin, doing some fantastic makeup matching. So sometimes I just pop in a bit of a curveball just to get everyone kind of thinking. We've done some really some really interesting things, as well as the kind of hardcore sewing things as well.
Yeah.
So it's getting a good mix.
Yes. And you also host our live workshops every month and do a wonderful job of that. So that's every month we get online with all of our Academy members, and the one or more of the mentors will teach for an hour and a half, 2 hours, take questions. And then for our Essentials members, they will be able to see sort of the replay and see afterwards. So they don't get to be there live and ask questions, but they get to be there and see the recording afterwards. And so tell us, you also have a background in sewing and design.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a costumier for over 20, 30 years now. I've worked mainly in theatre, film and television as a professional costumier. I have a master's degree in pattern cutting. Patterns are my absolute joy. I love figuring out puzzles. Draping and pattern cutting is my bag. But yeah, I've worked on all sorts of exciting things. Many of which I'm not allowed to talk about because of NDAs, because that's what happens in the film world. But yeah, it's great. I mean, the UK period drama scene is a brilliant place, and it's full of amazing, talented people who I feel very lucky to have worked with. And of course, all of that has given me some amazing contacts to bring you some incredible writers who with exceptional insider information.
No,
So,
how intriguing. Just dangle that carrot, Gemma, dangle that carrot. Well, thank you for introducing yourself. It's just a pleasure to have you on the team, and always there for us in our live workshops every month to host the party. So let us move on to Elizabeth. Liz, you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you do for us and where you are and what you do in sewing too?
Okay. Hi, I'm Elizabeth, or Liz. At Foundations Revealed, I do all the layouts. So I take Gemma finds the articles and assigns the articles. And then when they're submitted by the writer, she gives them to me and I put them on the website so everyone can see them. And then the other editors go through them and read them again. It's a very long editorial process actually between the writing of the article and it appearing in a lovely form in front of everyone's eyes. So I come in at the beginning and I just I put it up so everyone can see it and it's pretty. And for sewing, I've been sewing for a very long time myself. I started as a cosplayer. I've been cosplaying for more than 20 years now. But I also work in theater. I was expecting to have my MFA in costume technology in May, but that got a little bit derailed by the world right now. Taking a short pause to finish up that one. But I work as a cutter draper in theaters and I make the costumes for regional theaters like that. I think my favorite part is pattern making, which is actually the newest part to me, because I came up as a cosplayer, you sort of have to learn everything and lots of different skills that aren't necessarily just sewing. Like I also really love styling wigs or working with unconventional materials like foam and funny paints and things like that. And now in my professional work, I've learned a lot more about how to drape and make patterns not necessarily the right way, because anything that works as far as I'm concerned, but certainly a much easier way than just my old method of being like, let's just see if it works out, and if it looks pretty at the end, then I'm going to consider it a win. Now it's more like you go through all the initial steps and you know how to line up everything and measure everything and truing up your patterns to make sure everything's exactly the same length, and then where to cut the pattern if you want to make it a beautiful origami shape. That's very front of mind for me right now. I've been working my way through the Pattern Magic series.
Such a great book.
They're so fun.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing now.
I recognize the hand gesture for Pattern Magic then. That is the universal sign for Pattern Magic pattern cutting book.
Yes.
Yes. It's 2 books, isn't it? There's a 1 and a 2.
There are 3. There are loads of them.
There are 4.
And one for stretch fabrics.
Wow.
I just did a thorough review of the 4th one. It's about stretch fabrics, so it's more casual wear, I would say. And I already tried, I think, 3 or 4 of the designs, and they are pretty amazing.
Yeah, there's a pair of leggings in the back of that one that are just magnificent. You start with a normal legging pattern, and then you flash along the outside, and the pattern winds up looking like a big curly snail. And then when you're done, the patterns are just the leggings themselves have this lovely folding up the outside of the leg, and it's just devastatingly fashionable, and I love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're so easily sidetracked, aren't we?
No, it's great. It's great. This is what it's all about. It's the enthusiasm about all of the possibilities. It's just delicious. So in that case, let's go on to you, Barbara.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Barbara. I'm also one of your mentors. And as Loana already explained, I'm in the Facebook group helping out people with any questions about patterns, the fit of corsets. My specialty is, I would say, contemporary corsetry, traditional tailoring, but also what I like to call couture costumes or fantasy costumes, because I love making these completely outrageous fantasy costumes. But I'm also a bit of a perfectionist, so I want them to be finished with all the couture methods, and the insides have to look nice and neat, and everything has to be lined. Yeah. So it's a bit of a mix of everything, but that's what I enjoy, because I like combining different genres and different also time periods, the past and the present and the future, and taking the best of all the worlds and merging it into something new. So yeah.
I was going to say, one of the things that I love about your work is the versatility, that you are a traditional tailor on one hand, and then you did this one incredible workshop for us with thermoplastics and cosplay materials, and showing all of the crazy things you've done in a sort of cosplay direction. And it's just astounding work. So we're just privileged to have you on the team. We love having you around. I think everybody in the comments would agree you did a fantastic job on the workshop for us, as did Loana, and just showing us how to make our sleeves better. I think, did anybody in the comments watch the workshop? Just let us know in the comments whether you enjoyed the workshop. So I will then move on to Rachel. Would you like to introduce yourself, Rachel? And tell us
Hi everyone, I'm Rachel. Broadly, my role is very much the back office. I'm kind of responsible for the business side of Foundations Revealed. So I look after the numbers and all the legal stuff you've kind of got to do in business these days. So I can leave kind of these wonderfully creative women to do, what they do best, at the same time as kind of keeping everything running smoothly.
Women and one man.
And one man,
Lucas,
yes.
Luca's not here tonight, but yes, Luca is another one of our mentors who couldn't make it tonight. And you do actually dabble in, you have your own fibre arts.
Yeah, so I've been involved in living history in the UK for, I was trying to top this up, and I rather think it's 20 years, which sounds like an awfully long time and slightly scary. But my interest has predominantly been embroidery, and particularly 16th century embroidery is kind of like, that's a bit of a passion. So yes, I've done sort of lots of Elizabethan reenactment, and now I'm kind of coming a bit more up to date and dipping my toe in the water of Victorian and Edwardian things, and doing a bit of that embroidery as well as a bit of making clothes as well. So I think that's, you know, that's what I found personally really supportive about Foundations is the breadth of the content. You can literally go right from, you know, 16th century and slightly earlier, right the way through up to, you know, the vintage and everything between. So if you like to have a bit of a dabble, as I occasionally do, there's quite a lot to go after.
And you can just dabble for the afternoon and have a look into a new area and research a bit and have fun. Yes,
which is wonderful for me, because the thing I really enjoy about a new project is the research.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise I'm in the house of the historians. No shock horror to nobody who knows me. But yeah, so just being able to get some hints on research and read articles in depth and get some hints and tips is just fantastic. Makes me very happy.
Yes, it's just nice to have a home where everybody gets it.
Yes, exactly.
A library that has all of the obscure stuff that only those of us in the know would really understand and geek out about. So thank you, Rachel. Thank you for joining us this evening, and we appreciate so much. Rachel's only been with us less than 6 months.
No, I joined beginning of June, so it's not even 6 months yet.
Gosh, and just it seems like I don't know how we ever did without you.
Thank you.
Already.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being with us and making all of this possible, with all of that, the backroom stuff that's so essential and yet nobody really sees or notices it. It's all of the paddling below the surface that you do.
It's the dark arts.
That's it. So let us move on to Constance. You are our newest mentor.
Yes. Hello, I'm Constance. I'm another mentor you can find in the Facebook group. And I'm here for, I suppose, the historical fascination. If you're really into the historical geekery, I'm definitely here for that. But also, I'm here to encourage you to maybe historical and reenacting or the perfect replica is great, but maybe you want to also incorporate something into your everyday clothes, whether that's a historical twist on something you already love, or just full on going, no, this is how I am going to dress now. 1776 is for me and will be every day. So yeah, hopefully I can encourage you, whether you want to get something right historically or whether you want to make something that works for you to wear every day. I also work in theatre, film and TV. So as much as I love the historical perfection of something being made by hand with historical practice, I've also probably had to make something work in the dark with no time backstage. So I've usually got an answer like, is that really not working? Okay, what can we do? What can we make this? How can we make this work for what you need it to do today? We know there's things that you might want to do in the future, but yeah, I like to find answers as well. It's like, I've tried this, I've tried that. Right, have you tried this? And that's all right as well. It's all part of the journey of making a garment. Sometimes it's quite fun to have a little thing on the inside that's not right, but you know that made you get there, and that's sort of part of it as well.
I can actually vouch for this. I've watched Constance spring into action when somebody had a wardrobe disaster 15 minutes before the ball, and it was like art watching Constance just be like, right, we've got it, no problem.
I think
somebody got a safety pin.
I've done it twice with you. We've had that, haven't we? We've had someone forget a chemise minutes before walking down the red carpet at costume college, and I was like, and I was just tearing up strips of fabric and threading it through her sleeve so it looked like you had the array of puffs that should be there. It's sort of
glorious,
terrifying, but adrenaline and quite fun as well. Yeah.
that's just I think that's a superpower, actually. I suppose years in theatre and
yeah, I'm used to people going, this isn't working, this has to work now, and as I said, you're standing in the dark, you've got an actor that's desperately trying to think about what they've got to do next, and yet you're standing there sewing them into something or making it work. And there's always a way, and it does always work as well. So even if you think you're stuck and you can't move forward, you always can.
Yeah. So this relates back to the conversation we had last night with the Stitchlings, when Theodore is like, I think it was Theodore said, it's there for you. Foundations Revealed is there for you when there's 2 days to go before the client comes for the final fitting and you don't know how to make it work. And that's what we're there for. So whether it's trying to figure something out for the last time or just those last minute emergencies, it's good to have someone like Constance around to help you figure it out, or help you figure out how to make it work, in the words of another famous designer.
Or also to give you a pep talk how to deal with the client and what to say if you're not sure how to communicate with your client. We are also here to encourage you. So it's not only the sewing, but also communication, the business side of things. It's all part of it.
Yes,
we've had somebody.
Yes, I think we're thinking of someone we've had recently in the group who had one of those ultimate nightmare clients, and we were just all kind of circling the wagons and helping her through it. And I think she appreciated having a community around her, and it was amazing how people were coming out of the woodwork saying, well, I've got some legal background, and I've got some experience of this, and I've been here, and this is what you should say. And it was wonderful to watch everybody just gathering around her. Yeah. So
pretty much any issue you can possibly have, we have been there, and someone will have experienced it before you and will be willing to share.
And it's also, you're helping them as well, because I was just thinking, I've been in the same situation as that Stitchling we were talking about, and it's almost when you see it again and the reassurance that she got, the relief in yourself as well, in thinking it wasn't me, it was the situation, and we've moved on from that now, and it's fine. And you can then pass that on to somebody else, can't you?
That's right. So the last person I haven't yet introduced is Jalea. So would you like to introduce yourself, Jalea?
Hi, I'm Jalea. My primary role that you'll see me in is community concierge. Myself and the amazing Mary, we are on the Facebook group. We kind of patrol the Facebook group, make sure everybody gets the attention they need. Like if a post goes up and no one's answered it, we will happily link you to, not link you, I can't remember what the word is, alert the mentors to a post that might be appropriate to them if you don't know, so you don't have to, and obviously it's nice if people do that, but there's no stress if they don't know. So we will go, oh, that's a Barbara question, that's a Luana question, that's a Constance question, and we just do that. And the very rare occasions things need moderating or someone just stepping in, very, very rare, but we're there in case it does. I'm in the UK, Mary's in the US, so we kind of cover most of the things. Mary also, I'll mention her, she's not here because she's working. She also does the Discord. I wander onto Discord, but it's Mary's baby really, and she's on there a lot, helping people out. I am also a minion for Sharon, who does all of the emails and all of the communication and all of the memberships and all of the terrifying things. So I'm just a backup when she gets a huge amount of work and she just needs someone to do some of the repetitive tasks. I'll do those. And I've also I've been acquiring jobs. I've been with the company since May, and I'm now becoming web admin for the new website as well, because I've got some tech knowledge. So I've been learning how the new website works and trying to, people go, this page isn't working and we need it fixed like now because reasons. And
Basically,
so
you just hear that, Jalaya.
can someone just, yeah. And if I can't, then we know it's got to be escalated right up. So those are my roles at the moment.
Wonderful. And we're just so happy to have you in all of those roles. You've just really slotted into a lot of places where we really needed some help. So thank you.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about your sewing too?
Yeah, I'm an amateur, always have been. I've been sewing a long time, at least quarter of a century. Well, I've been sewing since I was a teenager, but properly I've been a reenactor for 25 years. So years of just making medieval kit for myself and my family. And then I wandered into the 18th century. And then I wandered around a reenactment market and met this crazy woman selling a website which had articles on, and paid her some money, and it was great. Possibly a little tricky to get around, but the information was there, and it just sort of helped breed a love of all eras of costume. So yeah, I just dabble in making costume. I wander about into different things. I wander into cosplay, I wander into fantasy. I want to make something from every era. I'm trying to do a YouTube channel. So I'm the dabbler. I've just sort of acquired little bits of knowledge over the years. It's all a bit random, but the new website is just, because I've had access to a lot of the articles, just trying to tidy them up. Some of the stuff we found has been, oh, there's an article on there I never knew. It's fabulous. So
good.
It's kind of got me re-inspired doing that as well.
Yes, it's good to know, since we've been putting that new website together, that there's now a bunch of you who all know the library really well.
Bits
so
of
when
it
we have
anyway.
people say, have we got anything on this? You'll be like, over here.
I'm sure I saw, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
We've got a couple of questions in the comments about the Facebook group and the Discord group. So I should explain at this point, this enrollment period, we've done something new. So it used to be that you were either a member of Foundations Revealed or you weren't. And we had a lot of requests for a sort of stripped down Foundations Revealed light kind of thing, because not everybody could afford the full membership. So what we did is we've made it a 2-tier thing. You can be an Essentials member or an Academy member. And Essentials is the stripped down version, and Academy is the full membership. So Academy level, you get access to the whole library, access to a Facebook group with all of the mentors there to help you out. You get to be there every month on our live workshops and ask questions and be very involved in that community. If you are an Essentials member, it's like you get access to all the digital resources, but not the community. So it's a bit like having a library card to Foundations Revealed. You don't get to go to the class and you don't get to be there in the classroom with everybody, but you get to sort of have a library card and be there out of hours. So to rummage through the library and watch the recordings of the live workshops and be there in your own time. So that also helps us, because the Academy membership with 4 mentors, obviously we can't welcome in an infinite number of people because there's only so many mentors, and we've got to keep that group small so that those people who really, really want the mentoring can get that help. So that Academy membership is a higher price and much more hands-on with you. And then Essentials, if that's more suitable for you, if you want to just be in there on your own and just rummage around on your own and learn in your own time, or you're not quite ready for the Academy membership financially, Essentials is a great way to sort of get some of the benefits without going all in. So for the Academy membership, the Facebook group with the mentors in there and all the help and the mentoring and the help with your own projects, that's for the Academy members only. But if you are in Essentials, both of you, Essentials and Academy, have access to a Discord server, which is more of a sort of informal, chatty community. So you get to make friends and meet people and have that sense of being in a friendly group of people, but you won't get access to the mentors and help with your projects from, you know, the official mentors. So I hope that makes more sense.
And post pictures of your pets.
And yes,
that's mainly what
pets.
people do in the Discord, I think.
Yeah.
Can I just say out loud, so I don't have to type it 57 billion times? If you want a Discord link, but you don't do Facebook, or you're in Essentials only, email info@harmonhay and Sharon will sort you out. info@harmonhay.com. There's a bit of a delay at the moment because obviously she's snowed under, but she will make sure you get onto the Discord. As the person who does all that side of things, Sharon has requested that that's how we do it. So that's how we're doing it.
Yes. So if you are a member, either at Essentials or Academy level, you can email Sharon to get that link.
There should be a link on Facebook, although we have to renew it every now and then because of the way Discord works.
It's
but if you're not on
welcome
Facebook,
album.
But if you're not on Facebook, then email and you'll get in.
Yeah, and the Discord link is also in the welcome email for Essentials members as well.
Brilliant.
Yes. Excellent.
Again, and sorry, I keep getting people saying, and what if I want to swap? What if I want to go up or down? Email Sharon at info.harmonhay.com. Oh, you know, I put too many dots in. That's the one.
Do you want
if
to
in
type
doubt,
that email address in the chat?
Again, I've typed it a few times, but I will do it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I didn't say
Yeah,
it.
it's okay. No, it's
people
fine.
Tend to misspell it, so
there we go.
Awesome.
I'll just type it every few minutes until it sticks.
Yeah. So let us know if you have any more questions about sleeves, about sewing, about membership, and we'll try to answer those questions for you. So we have those two levels. There's also something else that we haven't really talked about this enrollment period yet, and that is we have a competition coming up in a February, March time, and you can enter that competition whether or not you're a member. So I know we have somebody on the team who, before she was on the team, she actually won a prize in a competition a few years ago. So, Julia, would you like to do us the honor and show us your competition winning dress?
Give it a go. I've never shared screens before, so
you have to you have to hit the green button in the middle of the bottom of the screen, and then it will ask you to choose which window you're going to share.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Hang on a
That's
sec.
the picture of your dress, not of your cat.
I don't have a cat. I have some very soppy dogs.
Oh,
there we go.
Fantastic. Look, isn't that
I
incredible?
love this so much. Every time I see it, it just takes my breath away, Jalea.
So do you want to talk us through the story?
So this was inspired by a dress I saw on an auction site, a Worth fancy dress, 1912, something like that, which was white and blue, fancy dress butterfly, but I'm not a white and blue person, I'm a red person. So I picked my favorite butterfly and reinterpreted it, but I used a commercial pattern for the base dress. It's a Laughing Moon pattern. And I decided to learn lots of new stuff. So I learned about Devore, which is all this velvet, burnout velvet, because Worth, I realized much later after the competition, Worth would have had his fabric woven with the pattern on.
Yes.
But obviously we can't do it. And then the rest is beaded, which I spent several months doing.
So when you say Devore velvet, did you burn out the velvet yourself?
I did, yes. I started with white velvet, burned it out, and then dyed it, because you can double dye silk viscose velvet, different colors.
That's incredible. It's incredible work.
Thank you.
Well worth it. Do you have any? I think you have the rest of the pictures as well, don't you?
Yeah, let me just see if I can. No, not that one. Get rid of that. Hang on a sec. Oops, sorry. Let's get you a close up.
It's just such a beautifully elegant shape. I just love everything about it, and I even love like your little sort of slightly raggedy wings at the back as well.
Thank you. Yeah, they were a thing for the photo shoot. So that's a. Can you see that one? The close up of the beading.
Yes.
It's just insane.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, I know it looks incredible, but there are so many flaws that I can see, and I could point them out to you, but I'm not going to, because I'm still proud of it. This was my husband bought me a professional photo shoot to have this shot as a Christmas present, because of all the work I was putting into it, and it is held up in the back with safety pins. You know, if anybody's feeling, you know, really perfectionist, oh, it's not good enough, trust me, there's loads of problems with this. But the glory of photography, for a start, and the fact that people aren't looking at the flaws, they can't see the little bit where I've had to fill in with fabric filler, or where the devore burned out too much. They're just looking at the beading and going, ooh. So yeah,
it's a wonderful piece of work.
See if I can
this
get
was for our insects theme, wasn't it? We have a theme every year.
There we go. That was a real close up if you wanted a detail shot.
Wonderful.
She said detail, so I gave detail. It's
fantastic. It's fantastic.
Okay.
So
thank you.
You will have a chance to enter that competition if you wish. Whether or not you are a member, you can still enter. And the prizes are, they involve periods of free membership. So if you're in a position where you'd really like to join us, but, you know, pandemics are a thing and money is tight, you know, one way to make that happen is enter the competition, and you never know what you might win. So, Gemma, do you want to tell us a bit more about, you know, how it works?
Yeah, sure. So, okay. So each year we have a different theme, and these are interpreted in different ways by people who enter. You can find all the information on the website under the competition, and it's got a downloadable thing of like the comprehensive rules and so on. There will be the submission form for pieces will go up fairly soon. Obviously, our closing date is not till February, so that's plenty of time. We don't want to put the submission form up too early. But this year, the theme is Once Upon a Time. Now, that's not necessarily fairy tales, although it can be. It's books, it's literary themes, stories. So you are invited to choose a character from a book or a novel or a poem, a piece of written prose rather than not a TV or a movie thing, because those are already kind of ready realized characters. The idea of this is that it's going to stretch your imagination. You're looking through those books, those novels, those poems for like clues and emotions and colors to bring one of the characters in them to life. So you don't have to do a full outfit. You can just make one garment. You could make a fabulous hat for Mr. Darcy. You could make a gorgeous cloak for Red Riding Hood. If you want to, you can go the whole kit and caboodle and do, you know, head to toe with underwear and shoes. The choice is yours. We have 5 different categories of skill. So you're going to be judged amongst your peers. You're going to be judged by other people who have been sewing for a similar length of time as you, who have a similar skill set to you, right from beginners who will be making their very first thing ever for the competition, up to the professionals whose work you may have seen on the television or have their own ateliers at the very, very top level category. So yeah, it's really exciting. I love looking through all the entries. We have Pinterest boards. Yeah, we have Pinterest boards for inspiration if you're struggling a little bit. And you know, again, we have an external judge, so we have a guest judge. The first round of kind of choosing is members voting. So all the entries get put up and we all have a really good look, which is brilliant. We all enjoy that, don't we?
Yep, we do. Very much.
And then the members vote, and then the top 3 people, the people who get the most number of votes for each skill level, then get put before our guest judge, who puts them in order of first, second and third to win the various prizes. So there's lots of prizes to be won here. A lot.
Yes, lots of prizes in every category.
And you get loads of praise from all the people who see it. That's actually the best bit. People commenting on it and going, wow, because there's lots of entries. So, yeah.
I mean, if you're looking for a bit of confidence, just entering it just to put something up on the site with us and just to get all of that encouragement from people is just a journey in itself. And I mean, we've had people generally decide in the group it's not really a competition in the end, because everybody's so encouraging that it's more like an exhibition where, you know, the voting and the judging is kind of a formality. It's like everybody wins when they actually do something. And they actually do something and enter. So it's just a wonderful thing, a wonderful way to give yourself an opportunity to make something that you'd never normally give yourself the permission to make. Like I think Lena was talking about last night, that it kickstarted her journey back into sewing, to just have that opportunity to go nuts and make something fantastic.
It's
People
a reason to do a big showpiece. You know, we're kind of, especially like now at the moment, I don't know about the rest of you. I know Liz is like in her loungewear, but like I'm totally in loungewear all the time. I'm like, am I going to dress up? But to have a reason to make something amazing and put it on and, you know, get someone to photograph you in it, it's really nice to have like a goal, an end point. And it's a lot of fun. It's a wonderful showcase, whether you're a student or a professional or just doing it for fun. It's it's really
whatever
cool.
your skill level. Yeah Fantastic. Yes, so that is the competition, but we want to also, has anybody had any questions about membership that we need to talk about? You've been following the chat, Julia.
The one that's always asked, Kathy, is if they start on one level of membership, can they change it, and when?
Yes, if you start as Academy and you want to be Essentials, or Essentials and you want to be Academy, you can switch. You'll be able to switch during an enrollment period. So we do all the sort of welcoming people and dealing with subscriptions and fiddling about with payments and changing from one to the other. We concentrate all of that into those 2 weeks each year, April and October, because we really love to be able to just, we don't want to be a business that's constantly out there spending all our energy selling and marketing and trying to encourage more people in. We just encourage everybody to do that at one time, two separate times of year, so that we can just concentrate on you and your sewing and your learning. So you can always, there's no minimum term of membership. You can cancel at any time. You're never locked in. And in your first month, you can get a refund. If you join and you don't like it and it's not for you, you can get a refund in that first month. So there's no risk to you for trying it. And you can cancel anytime that you're ready. If something changes, if things aren't going so well, you can cancel anytime. You're never locked in. But if you want to switch from one membership level to another, we do those all together in one or other of the enrollment periods. So there you are. Cool. So I should talk some more about, I was going to ask you actually, do we have any favorite stories that we want to talk about of stitching projects or journeys, or are there any particularly memorable people in the group? Naming no names, but does anybody have any stories they want to share about favorite projects we've seen and favorite journeys?
I could, if
Go ahead, Barbara.
I remember, I think she just joined us earlier this year, and her name is Emma, I think, and she wanted to make just a few nice basic summer dresses for herself, because she said she had a hard time finding some that she liked, and she wanted to make a pattern that really fits her so she can use it as a base for all kinds of garments. And making a pattern from scratch is not easy. So I think she started off with a ready-to-wear pattern. And we really, it was like a group effort. I drew a lot of suggestions on her pattern, and a few other stitchlings and mentors chimed in. And it was just so amazing that she didn't give up. She made several mock-ups. She really applied each stage of new suggestions, and you could see how the mock-up went from a very loose fit to this perfectly smoothly sitting dress toile. And I think by now she has made 2 or 3 dresses. They have turned out so beautiful. And every time I see her sharing a picture of herself in one of those dresses, it's just like, oh, I'm so proud of you. And it's just wonderful that you've got a pattern now that you can use for any kind of garments that you like. And you can see from the smile on her face that she enjoys wearing these pieces. So that is one that I really remember, because it was such an involved process. I really felt invested in the pattern turning out successfully.
Yes. I love how you do get, all of you do get so involved. And it's not just like a passing comment about, oh, you should do this. Like you'll see in like free Facebook groups, like, no, you get involved, you get, their pattern and you're drawing on them. Just take it in a bit here and do a little bit. And then, just the level of detail that you offer when you're helping people out. And now she's got that one pattern that works, and she can make as many dresses as she wants out of that pattern. So it's just empowered her to really set that creativity free and make what she really wants. Wonderful. So any other great stories anybody want to share?
I've got one. There was a lass called Kelly who came in, I think again in the last enrolment period, and she picked up the American Duchess cape as like her first project, which would be fine, except she needed to do a full bust adjustment on it. And she'd never done, I think she was completely new to sewing, but she kept coming back and she listened to everything people said. And it was really nice to see her use her own pace as well. So she tried loads of mock-ups, and she got fed up with it. But then she'd come back and go, hey, I've done it. I've done a bit more. And she was always getting lots of support. And then I just checked, and she started at the beginning of April. And then at the beginning of June, I finally finished the thing, 2 months, 6 versions. And thank you for, I finally finished it. And now she's making shirts and just keeps coming back for more help, which is lovely.
That's amazing.
Really cool.
Yeah, she just pops in and out. She's had her other issues, and she's just really used the community, which I think has been great.
And that's worth saying, that everybody uses it at their own pace.
Yeah.
We get a lot of questions about how, am I really going to have enough time to use this? I have a job. Most of us do, but you just come back and use it as much or as little as you need. And it's not like, an organized course where everybody's got to keep up with the coursework. It's not like that at all. You just use it in whatever way works for you. So
I just want to give a bit of a shout out to the acceptance and kind of welcoming help that the group gives to people. We have we have a few non-binary members, and we have quite a few trans members, and just the support that people kind of give each other. It doesn't matter what your body is or what you're trying to achieve. Everyone is really there for you. It's such a non-judgmental group, just stitchlings to stitchlings, like not even us, but kind of the stitchlings look after each other and encourage each other. It's a very safe space, and that just seeing people's interactions with each other and the care that they've given different people who are perhaps struggling emotionally or with kind of physical kind of dysphoria has been really incredible. It always brings a tear to my eye, to be honest, to see how lovely everyone is towards
we have a body shape safe space on Discord as well.
Yeah, where people are completely free to kind of discuss issues and get support, because sometimes we do just all need a bit of a hug if we're having a bad day.
I think that's one of the things I'm most proud of about it, that we've created this community like a warm blanket that wraps around you, and you're safe here, whoever you are. And however much of a misfit you felt you were, you know, there's a safe space for you here. There's a place. I want to create a place where people feel like they belong. So, you know, no matter how, you know, we've all felt like misfits in the world at one time or another for whatever reason. And I love that we can create a place where I hope you can feel like you're coming home and being around people who get you. So, yes, that's a wonderful thing to have. Julia, were you about to say something?
I was just laughing at someone commenting about there's no body shaming. They won't even let you They won't even let you shame your own body.
It's true that.
It's true. It's true. So, any more Stitchling stories that anybody would like to share?
I was just going to say, because I joined as a mentor at a time that a lot of the beginners were just finishing their beginner course, that there was just then this flurry of posts of people going, look, I've done my first, because they were making hams and ironing, like steaming, ironing supports, weren't they? And it was, right. And then, you know, now we're how many months on, and people that were going, look, I've made my first piece, to look what they're making now. But there's also been some incredible attempts at using old pattern drafting books that have just, as a lady called Fabio was making a blouse from a particularly well-known German pattern cutting book in the 20s, 30s and 40s, a sort of series, and she just took to that. And it took a couple of mock-ups, because as we probably all discovered, the instructions can be quite brief in period drafting books sometimes. Yeah. And yeah, she didn't give up the first time when it wasn't quite right. She just went back to the next mock-up, and we adjusted it, and that was really lovely to sort of be involved with. But also there was another lady whose name I've forgotten, who just jumped in with a French Victorian 1880s drafting book the other day, going, I found this book, it's in French, I can translate it. And then she came back, you know, the next time she came back, she got this beautifully fitted sort of 1880s bodice that she'd made for herself, and it just looked perfect, and she'd worked it out. And yeah, she was happy to talk through what she'd done. Other people could chip in. There was some lovely language conversation as well, going, oh, this, I read that and I understood it as this. Yeah, so it's been really nice to see that.
Wonderful.
Because those are frightening on your own sometimes, aren't they? You look at them and you think, oh, where do I start? And then, you know, we've got someone to bounce ideas off if you're not quite sure.
I have to say, if we're going to talk about pattern books, we have to mention Jeremy. I mean, wow. Jeremy's ability to find the exact historical reference, picture, pattern cutting. He's a Stitchling member. He is extraordinary. I mean, it's, yeah, research gone wild. So yeah, thank you, Jeremy.
Yes. And for his programs he makes, where
yes,
he gets the pattern to draft itself and you plug in the measurements. Just incredible work he does. So just between us all, there's just this incredible explosion of creativity, and always someone there to support you, and whatever kind of crazy adventure you want to go on. There's a crowd of people here with popcorn waiting for the next installment and wanting to know how it's going. So it's wonderful to have that around you. So, I mean, what would you say? We've talked a lot about all of the features and what there is and what you get. But what would you say at the core of it? I mean, we've got people who are watching who are still trying to kind of get their head around what Foundations Revealed kind of is. What is it all about, really? Is that a question that makes sense? What does it all mean? What is it all for? And what is it all about for you, do you think, if you had to kind of sum it up?
I know
jump in with that,
for me,
question.
It's about, it's about having a safe space to learn, a community that will support you to that, so that you can really achieve the things that you want to achieve, you know, instead of just kind of going, oh, one day, oh, I wish, oh, if I could only, oh, they're so talented. Foundations Revealed is just like a fairy godmother that sort of not doesn't do it for you, but gives you the support and encouragement to do it yourself. It's a bit like going to the gym. Do you know what I mean? No one can go to the gym and pump that iron for you, but a personal trainer, wow.
Give you all the motivation and will cure the sort of one day-itis.
Yeah, that's what I see happening.
I think it's also, Gemma, related to that. It's the cheerleading you're seeing going on, don't you? The fact that somebody will post and, you know, I'm thinking about doing something. I've got an idea, and just the way everybody gets behind it and really encourages them and is throwing ideas into the mix, and I think there's a real desire to see people succeed.
Yeah. And I mean, I've been a professional costumier, and for long periods of time, I have been by myself in my studio sewing away, and it's quite isolating, you know, as a career, having your own business, having your own atelier, and to have a community to come to that really understands, for me as a professional, has just been really important all through my career. It's been, yeah, really, really important to know that there are other people out there like me that I can just chat to.
It's like the fact that sometimes if you say out loud, if you're stuck with a problem, if you just say it out loud to another person, you actually sometimes fix it for yourself, don't you? So this is a space where I'm stuck. All right, you're typing it out loud, but you're typing it out into, you know, a world of people that can go, oh yes, have you thought of this? Have you tried that? And yeah, it's getting back to you, isn't it? Coming back to you.
Yeah.
These are my kind of weirdos, and they'll understand if I go ranty obsessed about some silver buttons or a meter of silk that was just too good to leave, or the 15 boxes of fabric. They all get it.
Yes.
Yeah. As well as being the absolute kind of pinnacle rock star information. I mean, this is a lot of people say, you know, I went to university for 3 years, I got my degree, I've learned more from, you know, going to Foundations Revealed for a month than I learned at university, as far as sewing's concerned, because that's not what university is about. University is a different animal. Foundations Revealed can really teach you to sew really, really, really well if you're willing to put the hours in, with incredible teachers. Our mentors are very modest, but they are actually incredible, as are all the writers. You know, they are top of their game, they are experts in their fields. That's kind of not to be underestimated. As well as community, you are getting absolute incredible tuition.
And we're not static either. It's all evolving. Everything's getting better all the time.
Yeah,
which is brilliant. Someone, as you said earlier, Gemma, if there's a drive towards a certain thing, you know, or a trend or a fashion within our little world, then Foundations, we're on it. Yeah,
we're leading the way.
People have articles in response to articles as well, haven't there? So there's been, you know, someone's discovered something and someone else has gone, oh, you've opened this up to me, where can I take it, what can I go, and then they've written about it. So it's not, you know, it just continues on, and it will carry on continuing like that. Nothing stops, there's no dead ends.
And some articles have absolutely revolutionized the costuming and corsetry world. I'm thinking of Luca's on which is better, plastic or metal boning. I mean, that was iconic. It changed literally everything. And that was, you know, that got Luca's expert knowledge and disseminated it to a much wider audience than would ever have been able to have access to that incredible mentorship and expertise usually. You know, when you're working in a workroom, you tell the person who's working for you how you want it done. Well, you know, now we can tell all the stitchlings those secrets.
Yeah. The wonderful thing about doing this online is no matter where you are, New Zealand or Timbuktu or Toronto or wherever you are, you know, it's up until we had the internet, it was just is there a sewing class nearby? And you might get a basic sewing class, but you know, you name it, we'll teach you to make it.
Yeah.
So somebody asked a question in the comments about how you can get the best out of your membership, which I thought was a fantastic question. So any ideas on that?
Can I?
Yeah, go for it, Barbara.
Well, I think one of the best features that we have introduced lately are the success paths. This is a part of the website, and you can basically choose what kind of topic you're interested in. I think there's a historical one, there's a millenary one. Gemma can tell you all the ones we have, but it's a collection of articles that takes you through the topic you have chosen, starting from the beginner level, moving up to advanced, and then going into all the nitty-gritty details. So there are, you don't have to go to the archive and look through all the articles manually. There are paths laid out for different corners of the whole sewing world, and I think it's a really great way to get started, and you don't have to waste time on digging through tons and tons of wonderful articles that maybe not your jam. So I think that is a really good way to use the website.
Yes. Just to answer a couple of questions I saw come up, you do have to be over 18 to join, which is a small question I saw there. And do we take international students? Yes, we have students all around the world. That's the beauty of it. We have students in I don't know how many different countries, but yes, if you can speak English reasonably well, you'll have a lot of trouble with this content if you're not so strong in English. But we do have people with English as a second or third language. It doesn't matter where you are. If you've got a internet connection, you can be part of it. So anybody else got
there's one more question that's come up a few times. Sorry, just while you're doing technical things.
Okay.
That you've said obviously they can upgrade from essentials to academy during membership. What happens if they want to go the other way? Does that have to be during enrollment as well?
During enrollment, yes, that's right.
I just wanted to double check
we
that.
We do all the fiddling with the different subscription types during that enrollment time, so that outside of that time we can just pour into you and do all about the sewing and make that the focus of what we're doing and looking after you. Okay.
I just want to say something about videos, if that's all right. The live calls. Although lots of people wonder about being at the live call and whether they can't be, but watching the replay, I just think that especially the ones Luca has done on stays and skirt waistbands. Think what they have brought to people, and again changed how people are doing it. Bits of costume that people have been working on for years, whether historically or theatrically or just working it out on their own. He's just got a way of bringing to those live calls the answers to those mystery questions. So I think the one on stays, when we finish there, it's going to be there for people to look at, and they're going to love it.
Yes.
And you see the skirt one has all the information about skirts over the two live calls was so good, but again the historical, if that's what you're interested in, what he brought to that was just wonderful, and it's helped so many people.
I really can't wait for the next installment of the Stays one.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
We've been doing this epic series on stays. It's like the ultimate, all you ever wanted to know about making the perfect pair of stays, and we're really excited to see. Luca and Barbara have been working together on that to really demystify the process of making stays. So that is a very exciting thing. Those live calls are once a month, but we have one special thing we're trying this month. You may have noticed one of the features of our new site is that you can get sorted into your sewing house. And this month, we are trying for the first time, we're going to do Q&A calls, like coaching calls, one for each house. So you'll be broken down into a smaller group with even more chance of getting your particular question answered. So obviously for Academy members, that is something we're doing this coming month. So anything
Squirrel.
else? Squirrel. Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
couldn't resist.
So what houses do we have here? I'm a fustian.
I'm Fustian.
Bastian.
Yeah.
Sarsenet.
I'm a hybrid. I'm afraid I had the biggest trouble to choose just one of the houses. I ended up retaking the quiz a few times, and each time I ended up in another one.
Oh.
I guess it shows that I have a lot of different interests.
Yes. Yeah.
Liz, are you a Casimir?
Yes.
Yep.
I think Loana's a Casimir as well, isn't she?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Luca oscillated between Casimir and Fustian, depending on what his mind state was.
And Mary is a Brocatel. So
She is,
yes. Yes.
So
we
yes,
have
it's quite
every
fun.
house across the team. It's fun. It is fun. What is a house? It is the system in old British schools and in certain magical novels as that you would be sorted into a house like a group or a team, so that you would score house points, and the teachers would have you compete for house points and compete on achievement and behavior. And we've just sort of borrowed that system to just have a way of giving people a place to belong, a way to, a fun quiz to sort of find out your sewing personality. And on another level, as Foundations Revealed gets bigger and bigger, it's kind of a future-proofing thing, because as the group gets bigger, it might be useful to be able to break you down into 4 groups like that for something like coaching calls. And that's what we're trying out this month. Just so it's a fun thing, and it's going to be useful in the future as the group gets bigger. We'll be able to keep you in small friendly groups.
It
so
gives
that
you a
you
way
can
to
make
kind
that
of meet
membership.
like-minded people. So people who work in the way that you do, or are particularly interested in the sort of things that you are interested in. It's a little bit of a shorthand, bit like bit like, I don't know, wearing all black and having like goth makeup, and everyone goes, oh, you like the Sisters of Mercy.
Yes, as spoken like a true ex-goth. Well, not even ex. I think.
It just,
I think
it just
Not
goes
even
inside,
X.
It just goes inside and stays there. It's not speaking as an ex-goth.
A few people would like to know how big the community is.
Oh, well, that depends on how many people join tomorrow. We've got, let's say, roughly altogether, Academy and Essentials, I think we're somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500. But as I say, that's one of the reasons we've introduced the Essentials membership, is because if the group just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, then the mentors can't get to everybody. So that's part of the reason why we've given you the opportunity to maybe just be a sort of Essentials library card style member, because we can have as many of those members as want to join. And then we've got that higher priced membership where you can get that mentoring if you need it. So we're going to try and keep that group reasonably small and manageable, so that the mentors can really give you the support you need. Okay, so I have one more thing to talk about in terms of how to get the best out of your membership. I was lying awake last night thinking about how to help everybody get the most out of membership, and really thinking about what Foundations Revealed is about for me. And we do give you all the support you could ever need with how to sew this or that, how to make the patterns, how to adjust it, how to fit it, what's the right needle, what's the right stitch. But to be honest, it's not always about that. It's not always about the sewing techniques. A lot of, I think, what often holds us back is not knowing how to do it, but it's more about what's going on inside us, as in, you know, things, you get in your own way sometimes. You find that the reason you are holding back on something is not because you don't know how to do it, but because it's procrastination or perfectionism, and you end up with projects that are in the back of drawers, and things that are just unfinished and sitting there, or things that are still inside your head and are just, you know, it's still there. You've had that idea for 5 years, you know, you realize you pinned it or posted the design that inspired you on Facebook 10 years ago, and, you know, the picture comes back up as a memory, and you're like, oh yeah, I still haven't made that thing. One day-itis I was talking about earlier. So I had this idea about something that can help you get started, something that we can do as a special gift for you when you join, and something new, something we've never done before. So it's not just that there are projects that are in drawers and projects that are still in your head. It's like, this is the stuff that I talk about on YouTube in just those little weekly little videos that I do, that it's not just the projects that are in a drawer, but sometimes there's a part of yourself that you're keeping in a drawer, or a part of yourself that's still in your head that is kind of the person you kind of want to grow up to be one day. One day I want to grow up. When I grow up, I want to be, and you insert name of person who inspires you. And there's parts of ourselves that are unfinished and that are still in a drawer. And I think it's that sometimes that holds us back from having the confidence to go out and make the things you want to make and to be creative in the way you want to be creative. So I just thought, how can we bring a bit of that into what we do within foundations? Because I really want to start doing more with that than just the YouTube videos. So I had this idea, and this is completely new. As I say, this is like the middle of last night lying awake that I thought of this. So this is still being formed. But what I want to do is, this time when enrollment week is over, we close tomorrow night, midnight Pacific time, on Friday that is, for those of you watching this replay. I want to introduce and do a new sort of mini course with you that really looks at this in much more detail. As in, we all talk about and hear about, just do it, just be your best self, just be confident and get out there and do it. But it's all very well to say those things, but it's like, doing them is a different thing. So how do you really get out there and become that authentic self that you've always wanted to be? How do you really actually make that happen? How do you grow into that person you really want to be? And so you can be a happier, more well-adjusted person, so you can be a better person for the people around you, for family and friends, and do the work you want to do in the world, and, you know, ultimately make the world a better place. I mean, I'm, you know, getting very meta here, but this is the stuff that I've become really passionate about. So what we're going to do to get to the point, and I'm a little bit kind of shaky about doing this because I've never done anything really like this before other than those little videos on YouTube, is I want to do a course with you. It's going to be 3 parts. It's going to be done like this, on like our live workshops, but extra over and above the live workshops, where we just talk about how to become your best self, how to make that happen. There is a science around change, around how to change yourself, how to kind of write a different story for who you are and become that person you want to be. And I'd really love to delve into that with you on a deeper level. So that is going to be something, think of that as a sort of extra sweetener, an extra bonus, because I think that would really not only help you in your own life with how you feel, but it would help you do the sewing you really want to do the creative projects you really want to do, and it would sort of underpin everything else that you're learning at Foundations and lift you higher so that you can do that stuff. And that's what we're always about. You've heard that in all of what the team have been saying. We're here to lift you up. So that is going to be a course we'll do for everybody who is a Stitchling now, everybody who is joining now, everybody who joins before that deadline tomorrow night. You will have access to that bonus course. I don't even know what it's called yet, but I think I'm calling it something like The Courage to Be Your True Self. So is this making sense to anybody? I'm just I'm seeing encouraging signs in the chat that this sounds
Several
like,
people said that you were describing their soul.
Oh, that works. I'll take that. Does
And to
that
stop
sound
looking
like it would
inside
be
them.
sorry?
And to stop looking inside them, please.
I mean, does that sound like something that would be useful? You know, say in the comments, or I mean, is that resonating with it? Am I out of my mind here, or is this sounding like something that's relevant?
I think you're saying what
What do you
people
think?
need to hear.
Yeah. Yes.
There's a chorus
yes,
of yeses, chorus of them.
Okay. So, if you would like to go further with us, we've given you all that we can in the free workshop, the sleeve workshop. That's still available till tomorrow night, till that deadline. We still have a few, you know, something like 24 plus say 32 hours left. I think there's a countdown clock on the page, the sales page, where you find out all about it. I am going to type, or do you want to type, Jalea, the address of the page to go to if you want to join?
I'll try to. It's all got a bit yesy at the moment.
Well, maybe we'll wait for it to calm down.
Everyone's like, yay, give us the thing, Kathy.
Actually, I'm going to
be our best selves, please.
I'm going to do that thing where I find the page and then copy the link so that I don't type it wrong.
So, I mean, as I say, this is just forming in my mind now. I have some expertise on this because this is what I've been doing since I was 18. And that's going to be part of it, because I have a story that I haven't told before about how I came to be here. Yes, it's going to be inside Foundations Revealed for people who join. I have a story behind why I've become who I've become and why I'm so interested in this stuff. I learnt it for a reason because I needed it. So I have a backstory that I've not really told before because it's kind of personal. I'll be telling that story as part of this. I've been encouraged to do so because last year I gave a speech to my business community about my business, about Foundations, about why I do what I do and how we do what we do and what it's all about for me. And it really seemed to make an impact on people when I talked about why I do it and talked about my backstory. So the team have seen that the video of that speech. I'm not going to release it publicly because that's for a different audience, but they have been saying to me, and Rachel particularly has been saying to me, you need to tell that story and you need to do more on this stuff. So, you know, I'm going to be telling that story, and I don't really know how that course works yet, but I'm going to be asking you questions about it within Foundations and really getting an idea from you of what you need from that course, so we can really sort of co-create it together and so we can work through that journey together. So we'll see how that goes. But if you want to be part of that and help create that and help be part of it and become, you know, the person you really want to be in the world and keep and learn how to grow and change and become a better person and a more creative person and a more confident person, you know, we can work on that together. So I hope that's
less procrastinatory person.
And a procrastinatory person, yes, we can work through that too. So it's really about, you know, living your best life today. And, you know, I mean, it's hard to talk about it because that's such a sort of cliche, but this is really about, no, really, not just live your best life, but how do you actually do that on the ground? So, you know, I have I have a friend who's a clinical psychologist. She has 40 years experience, and I've been doing a course with her this year on how change actually works, how you do change, how you become someone else if you want to become a better person. So that will be the sort of material I'll be drawing from and helping you go through that. So I hope that sounds like something you'd like to do. If you'd like to join us at Foundations Revealed, the link will be in the chat somewhere. I think Julia's put that in now. So it's foundationsrevealed.com/FR. That is, we are open for enrollment until tomorrow night, midnight Pacific. We make it midnight Pacific time because that's kind of the latest about the latest big time zone to cross midnight. So if we say midnight tomorrow, if you just think of it as midnight your time, it'll probably be right and you won't miss it. So just think midnight tomorrow to join us. If you're an Academy member, you will get to be in that course on the calls live and get to ask questions, and we will record those calls except for the Q&A, so we can keep your questions private if you want to, because this can be quite personal stuff. We'll record sort of the teaching part. Academy members will be there live and able to answer questions. If you're an Essentials member, you'll get access to the recording afterwards, so you'll still get to watch it as a replay, so if that makes sense. So if you would like to join us, you can do so. You've still got 32 hours to do so, and we look forward to seeing you on the inside, as they say. So thank you very much to Liz, to Gemma, to Constance, to Barbara, to Julia, to Rachel and Luana, who had to go early. And we look forward to seeing you on the inside in Foundations Revealed. And thank you for watching.